o'clock. All right, thank you everybody for being in attendance tonight. This is a special board meeting of the Centerville Community School District. Our district mission is that all students will learn well, become lifelong learners, and contribute positively to society. It's 5 p.m. on June 27th. I'd like to call the special board meeting to order with a roll call, please.
Johnson's not here. Moore?
Here.
Craig Thomas?
Here.
Bob Thomas?
Here.
Shondell?
Here.
Berger?
Here.
Liskus?
Here. First of all, we'd like to welcome any visitors that we have here or online. It looks like there's 3 people on the screens. This is also time for public forum. If there's any member of the public that would like to say anything in front or to the board. Hearing no public forums, we'll start by approving the agenda, and really what we have is 2 items. Approving the personnel business procedures and discussing board vacancy. If I could please have a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion second to approve the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Let's go into approve the personnel business procedures. Now I'm going to make a little statement here that Lisa and I talked earlier today, and they're still putting some of these things together and want to know if we should just email out throughout the day or just wait until we got them here. And I asked her just, instead of putting 3 or 4 emails out through the day, just wait until everything was here. So that was the decision I made. So that's why you didn't get these in advance. There are 4 items on here. If I guess, Tom, if you, I don't know how to do this between Tom and Mark. If you want to, what you're recommending, Tom, then we'll have Mark do his.
Yeah, well, Mark and I, quite some time ago, because of the number of vacancies we had, he wanted to be heavily involved in the administrative ones. And we also talked about the buildings and grounds ones, so I did it, organized, facilitated that, the committee and so on. And he did the others,
Okay.
high school, and middle school, and dean, and something.
Okay. All right, so I guess for an explanation with Courtney Kessner, is she just picking up additional hours?
She's going full-time.
She's going full-time and she's going to pick up transportation secretary with that is. Okay. Anybody got any questions on that one? Okay. Let's do Aaron Beeson. Just so everybody knows what's going on.
Should be the last page.
Should be.
This one. There should be one separate.
Need an extra?
There should be one separate page.
So if we'll talk to second about Aaron, he's going to be director of transportation, or director of
Director of buildings.
buildings and grounds. Okay. And then we have, is it Joanne, or Jolene, how's it pronounced?
Joanne.
Joanne Bishop, Dean of Students for the high school. And then the final one is going to be Rhonda Rasky to be the Howard Middle School principal. And she'll also do special ed director duties. Now on Rhonda's, as you remember, she was previously applied for and approved for early retirement. And part of this, she actually, when the opening came up, I think she called Mark and said, hey, I'd be interested in being the Howard Middle School principal. And so in part of that, she is voluntarily, and this is something I think that is pretty extraordinary if you ask me, she's voluntarily asked to rescind her early retirement bonus that she was going to get, or payment that she was going to get. And so part of what we would do tonight was and what I want everyone to understand is upon approving Rhonda Rasky as the Howard Middle School principal, we are at the same time approving to rescind the $50,000 early retirement pay. And I think that's pretty extraordinary that she is willing to give that up to continue to serve the district. I think that's pretty commendable. Okay. So does anybody have Any questions on those four personnel actions? Any questions at all?
Just real quick, knowing the other three, could someone kind of give a brief synopsis of Bishop?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to, if that'd be okay. Mrs. Bishop has actually spent the last, and I have to look back at my notes, I think it's 8 or 9 years in Burlington, teaching at she's taught the at-risk students English and social studies at the alternative high school. She's done some instructional coaching, has had her admin degree for a couple of years, kind of looking for that chance to break in. I think she's going to bring a unique set of skills. She's worked with some real challenging cases over there in Burlington, some kids who maybe were on an expulsion, had to be served in a different setting. So she's kind of worked with some real tough behaviors over there. So I think she's got the right skill set to come in and help make sure behavior's in a good spot, which is what you want out of your dean. And she's got a good academic mind to be able to help us grow that side of our program too. Yeah.
And then the potential bonus in a year?
Yeah, so she's she is married to a fantastic math teacher. He taught math at Iowa Wesleyan for a number of years, but the program downsized there. Burlington snatched him up to teach like calculus, concurrent enrollment, math programs, a lot of high-level stuff. So that'd be somebody who down the road, hopefully, we could maybe find a way to bring into the fold. And
He's under contract this year already.
yeah, he is, unfortunately.
So if it all worked out, maybe we'd get a 2-for-1 if we had a math meet next year, so. Okay, any other questions? Okay. If no other questions on personnel business procedures, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 4 personnel actions in front of us this evening. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you very much. Now, discussion of the board vacancy. Since we are together, I thought I would go ahead and just put that on the agenda for a few minutes. What was emailed out with the agenda is basically this from IASB. We've been through this before, so we kind of have an idea of what we need to do here. Lisa, I did talk earlier this week. She was going to go ahead and is it going to be in this week's paper? So Appinus Weekly is going to have the public notice as required by Iowa Code, which gives the public 14 days to whether they want to have a petition drive for a special election or not. So we do have to get that out. So we went ahead and started that process. I really appreciate the fact that Brooke went ahead and gave us our some time to do some of this background stuff because her resignation will take effect Thursday, is official. So anyway, we just wanted to get a jump on the clock. So the question becomes in front of the board is we have some flexibility how we do this. What we did before was we asked for people to come in, and I appreciate you coming in here, Derek, was to come up and basically give us an official notice that that they would like to be considered to be appointed. And then we sent some questions out. If you remember, then we had to come in, we had some question and answer time in here, and then we made that appointment. That is one way to do it. The other way we could do it is we have the ability, as I understand it, as a board, just to say, as a board, we are not going to take, for lack of a better word, applications. We're just going to appoint somebody. So we can do either one of those things. And so I just want to know what is the board feeling and thoughts towards that process. We're not going to appoint anybody tonight. We have to put the 2-week public notice in, and I'm hoping that if it's in, I didn't count the days, will we be able to do it on the 11th?
No, but I think you can appoint, even though you're still waiting for the petition.
Okay, so we could appoint pending a petition.
I believe so. I'll
Okay.
try to find that out. But,
The other opportunity we will have is July 27th. because we're gonna have our work session, and there's be a special meeting on July 27th, where we're gonna approve some bonds and other things anyways. So we have two opportunities to do this before the 30-day ends. If we don't appoint within 30 days of the date of the vacancy, which is June 30th, then we have to have a special election. And that's kind of what we ran into last time, was when Sarah Lynn said, kind of late in the game, that she really didn't want her name withdrawn from consideration. That gave us about 4 or 5 days where we had to do something. And that's when this process came up, and we appointed Bob. So, yeah, you were gonna say something?
You know, what's the cost of a special election? We should let the public, it's some ridiculous amount of money, like $7,000.
I believe so, I don't know. if it's on my head,
$7,500, something
but
like that.
it-
Yeah, for 18 months. Because
Right.
whoever's gonna be on, it's gonna be on the board for 18 months before they have to run.
Right.
I kind of like the idea of, an application, or at least a letter, of, if they were interested.
Okay.
At least it gives us, makes us look like we've considered everyone we wanted to.
Sure. Okay.
And I think that's what we've done all the years I've been on the board, is that process, I think.
Okay. Chris, your thoughts?
Are we just gonna go like we did last time?
Well, that's kind of what we're talking about, is how do we want to do this?
So if we decide we're gonna go like we did last time, is there really any sense to put people through applications and such?
I guess I'm
Does
not
that make
following.
So, I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
If we're gonna take the next person in line that had the most votes, like we have done in the past.
Okay.
Is there any sense in having people put their time and effort into coming in and talking?
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
I see what you're saying now, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't following you at
Okay.
first, yeah.
I've had several people ask me about it, and of course, we didn't run the last time, so they've expressed an interest. I guess I think we should at least consider that.
Well, I will say this, Derek is here, and he did send me an email and say that he's interested. He was interested when Bob was appointed, and he's here tonight, so I just want to say that in my mind, he's already submitted his I'm interested notification, so.
Okay.
Has anybody else showed any interest at all?
I've not heard from anybody.
Lisa, have you?
I have not.
But as Mike said, there are some people
I've heard
interested.
a couple of people who've asked me that they, haven't submitted anything officially, they just wanted to know how we were gonna proceed, or what would they do, so.
Okay. You think, Tim?
I think, if we kind of open it up like that, or say we're gonna take, I think that would go
Up
better
to
than we would,
applications.
than why we had some trees determined or whatever.
I think traditionally, we've taken the person with the highest votes if something happens right after election. But this has been several months, so I think that's kind of in a different category, is my first thought.
What do you think, Mike?
I think we already set the precedence.
Okay.
I think that's what we did on the last one, it's the same board.
Okay.
That's how we go.
Okay.
So,
I'm okay with that. So, then Lisa, my question is, or Tom, if you remember, what did we do to tell people to submit applications?
Well, I mean, we put it in paper. We didn't do that this last time, but that's typically what I've done in the past. You put a notice out in the paper that anyone's interested.
A notice other than the public notice?
Right.
Okay.
Independent of,
And then independent of the public notice?
independent of the story
Okay.
on the board meeting.
And you can have a form that they fill out, or you can just ask them to write something to express their interest. That would be up to you guys.
A letter of interest showing interest
Just a
in
letter of
serving
interest,
on the board would do it. I mean, they certainly have the discretion to how far they want to go into detail or not go into detail.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to get a flavor for that, how you guys want to do it. So I guess I'll mention something to Russ or AJ or something about running a little article, or Josh Price or something, to say, can you guys run a little article and just say that we're looking for people who are of interest. And I guess, Derek, I'm okay with, you've already expressed interest, so
Can we put a time frame on that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it'd be
So
next,
it'll go out on the sixth. It won't go out until the sixth.
Yeah, we're gonna put something in the pitch.
Yeah,
that'd be the Wednesday, the sixth.
yeah, is when it won't go in the paper. Now, whether or not you do something else other than that, I'm just saying,
Well, yeah, they could,
We can put it on our website and
Right.
on social media too, then, right?
yeah, maybe we have to do some stuff on social media. Is there a desire by the board to do something on the 11th, or do you want to wait until the 27th?
I say do something about the 11th, I think.
and if for some reason we can't, we'll just do it on the 27th.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
okay. Yeah, because whoever it is, I obviously want to be part of that board work session on the 27th, so. And what I don't want to have to do is hold another special meeting in July just to do that, so. I guess we'll make plans to try and do that by the 11th.
So do you want a specific date for the letters to be into our office?
What's the Friday before?
The 8th. If you wait till Friday, they won't probably be in a packet.
Probably.
Unless you just, unless I can just send them out on
You
Friday.
can just send them out, I would just say send them out.
I'll just say noon on Friday, that way that you
Noon on
can.
Friday. So I will get with, the pitch and see if they can't do a social media blast. And if we can get that on our, as quickly as possible. Mr. Cameron, the married man, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
So if we can get that out that way, and then, that way we have some things going out now, so that putting in something on the paper on the 6th, it's already been out there, and, you know, they can probably talk about it on their morning show and all that kind of stuff. So we'll just have them do a social media blast, so we can do that, and hopefully have somebody appointed by the 11th, so. Okay? Sounds good. Does anybody have any other questions about filling vacancies?
Talk about the curriculum director.
Yeah, so the current budget for this year was built without that position. So in order for us to have a healthy unspent authorized budget, we really need to move forward spreading some of those responsibilities out. That's part of why tonight, with the recommendation for Rhonda Rasky, the reason that we included the special education on for her, Bruce Carpin had done director of special education for a number of years when he was at Howard. We have the opportunity, some of the computerized stuff that Rhonda had done, because there were a number of computer programs that she ran. Mecca's going to oversee some of those. And then, yeah, there'll be a little bit more state reporting responsibility on me than there would have been otherwise. But, you know, I'd rather see, at least as we start to kind of get a sense of where our budget is, we're keeping money as close to the kids as we can. And if that means a couple extra hours here or there, after hours for me, that's worth it for that. Now, I think the initial plan was to put a pause on it for a year in hopes that we could get a few things worked around and make it work out in the future, and I think that's wise, but the budget's built without it in for this year. And it's kind of hard, that's quite a chunk of money to be able to come up with late in the game, unfortunately.
So we don't have to have a designated curriculum director.
Right, yeah.
It's not a state statute that requires that.
But I think it's a valuable employee,
Yes.
and I wish we would value that more. I
Mhm.
think we're spending a lot of state money,
Yeah.
and so you're gonna backtrack, because there's gonna be stuff that isn't gonna get done. And I don't know how long it'll take to make up for what you lose in a year.
Right, and so that's where we're gonna have to, and I've started to look through some book studies that we're gonna do with our administrative team, and we're gonna have to really look administratively at how we all cover some of those responsibilities for this year, and make sure that the biggest part about that, and the part that people forget about the curriculum director, is the importance of making sure that we have a unified system approach to professional development. And so that is gonna really fall on me as I meet with my administrative team regularly to make sure that what's happening at the elementary is being carried through the middle school and the high school and vice versa, so that we're a system-wide approach and we're not four if we count preschool. So we're not four separate buildings, we're one system. But you're right, that's really important work, and we want to be careful not to lose that work.
Yeah, but just the budget we previously approved had that position not filled, so Mark's just got a challenge to figure out in the next, between now and the next budget cycle, how to add that back in, so.
I would spend some time thinking about whether we need to have dean of students in our three buildings. That added a higher percentage of our budget towards administration. And I'd just like to have some discussion of the essentialness of those three positions.
Thank you.
Anything else? We'll dispense with board takeaways, and I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion second to adjourn, all in favor signify by saying aye. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.